Hi, I'm Dutch Hillenberg, and I want to talk about the so-called arm brace decision that has come out from ATF. And I'm here to tell you that it's basically bullshit. In my opinion, it's just a distraction away from the probe into the Biden criminal family. Let's ignore the fact that this, proposed change is unconstitutional. It simply won't work. The Congressional Research Service, which researches things for the U.S. House of Representatives and the Senate to try to give them accurate information, the Congressional Research Service estimates that there are up to 40 million firearms equipped with a brace. Now let's be realistic here. The ATF is a government agency, but it's not that big. Let's say that the average federal employee does 6 hours of actual work in a given 8-hour time period. Processing and approving each of these applications would almost certainly take at least 12 minutes to process. That's a very reasonable 5 per hour, which works out to 30 on average per day per employee. That's 150 per work week for each employee, devoted full time to doing this as their 8-hour a day job. Now, after training and vacation and sick leave, you can figure on about 48 weeks per employee for a respectable 7,200 applications being processed per year, if that's all that employee does. That sounds pretty reasonable, but then you have to think about it. Let's say you dedicate 100 employees to processing the applications, which gets us up to 720,000 applications being processed in a year. The problem is there's at least 10 million of these out there, and possibly as many as 40 million of them. But let's take the lower number, which is only a quarter of the maximum. That's 10 years. That's 10 million applications. It would take almost 14 years to process 10 million applications. But theoretically, there's at least 40 million of those arm braces out there. That would make it 56 years to process all of them if you had 100 employees doing nothing else than doing those applications. Honestly, I think it's just bullshit. This was essentially a dead proposal when the Bruin decision came out. It didn't make a lot of sense then, but when Bruin came out, it was obvious it was never going to go anywhere. I think it's just bullshit. They dropped this right at the peak of the information coming out about Biden and his, criminal activities, the, lost documents, all of the disclosures about, Hunter, and, more and more stuff just keeps coming out. And I think they were just trying to change the narrative. Long live the Republic. Keep your powder dry. We're going to need it.